Hey there. Hey there, folks. Welcome. Welcome to a Friday night live, Friday night special. How was your day? How was your week? It actually was a full and busy week and day. I mean, there was so much on the news feed today. I don't even know where to begin. First, as usual, another day that comes to an end. I am all trumped out. Trumped out. I mean, every day, every morning. Trump, 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 and every night, you sign on your diary. I hope he goes to jail. And you start the next morning again. Trump, 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 and before you go to bed, I hope he goes to jail. I don't know. We are approaching cold winter, very, very cold winter. Sometimes I be freezing my ass off already, and it's not even winter. But the oil says to continue to freeze your ass. You know, it's too much. It's too much. All right, all right, all right, all right. Today we have two new guests on the show today. The topic of discussion is single moms and dads, single parents. It is quite difficult these days to be a single parent. I'm sure even our parents would have said it was difficult back then too, but for new reasons, right? For different reasons, the generation today is so much different than the generation was 20, 30 years ago. Way different. Even the music is different. The music sucks. Sucks. To the point that my own children are listening to my music. I'll come out my room and I'll be like, "What you know about that?" And they be like, "Daddy," I'm like, "Daddy, nothing. Turn it. It's not your time." But I understand poor kids. They got nothing but crap today. It's just nothing but crap, nothing but crap. Anyway, so we've got two new guests on our panels today. Both single moms. One a single mom of a 38-year-old. I got that right, right? All right. And one of a single mom of three, but her main concern has been one that she has many ups and downs with. 29 years, 29 years. One is a boy, one is a girl. So we've got both sides of how it was to be a single parent, raising both boys and girls. So let's meet our first guest tonight. Her name is, what's your name?
My name is Dawn.
I'm joking. Hey Dawn, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for
Glad to be
joining
here.
us.
Glad to be here.
We're very happy that you're here. Are you ready?
I'm ready. The subject single moms, I'm ready.
Oh no, I thought I was saying, are you ready to go to Great Adventures on that ride? But
Great
it's all
Adventures? Oh yeah, the spook house or whatever they have. Yeah. I'm ready for that. I gotta try to live.
right. So you saying you're going on that high roller coaster?
I will. I will.
I'm gonna hold you to that. Let me write that
When
down.
it comes to those things,
Let
I'm
me
still a
write that.
kid
Let me
at
write
heart.
that down.
That's the thing. I'm still a kid at heart.
All right.
But I know how to play the role kid and then stop it and like, look, I am the adult. Okay.
Okay. All right.
But
How long does it take before you say you're the adult?
when the volume starts to change, like if I hear my volume going up and then I hear the child's volume going up, whoa.
All right, all right. How about our guest number two, Miss Darlene?
All
How
right,
you
how
doing,
are you?
Darlene?
I'm good in yourself.
I'm doing well today.
Good, glad
Thank
to
you for
be here.
joining us. This is your first time on the show.
It surely is.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yes. 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 And thank you for having me.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Don't get us started now.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for joining us, Darlene. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for joining us today. All right. So, Dawn,
Mhm.
so you have a 29-year-old daughter. You have not forgotten, and you raised that daughter by yourself, right?
Yes.
And you
Yes.
haven't forgotten what it was. your trials and tribulations that you went through with your daughters. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm 29 years into the game, and I can still see like it was yesterday, the first time I felt a kick, or even the first sonogram picture.
Oh, I was gonna say why? Because is she still peeing in the bed?
Mm, mm, mm.
It's just so much, I when I was pregnant with her, I hid it for a little bit because I wasn't embarrassed or anything like that. It was just I didn't know how to just come out and say I'm pregnant. So
Why? Why not?
I wasn't worried about how my mom felt, but just at the same time, the impression she would have had of me. You know, like I didn't have the grand wedding, but I was with the father that I was pregnant
Yeah,
by.
yeah,
Um, Even while dating him, as my mother being a single mom, no matter what age I was, she still was that single mom for
right.
me. So I felt I was ready. I moved out. I had a good job. I felt like I was established, but you still want to hold that good image with your mom. So I hid it for a little bit. I was working at Coca Cola at the time, so I'm surrounded by soda.
And when you say you hid it, your mom didn't know you were pregnant.
No, no. So when she did pick up, like, why are you putting on so much weight? I get free Dr. Pepper all day. I get free Coca
Really?
Cola. You need to stop drinking that. Okay. So then it was like, now it's concerned. I've hid it for a few months. Now my concern is my baby's health. I gotta come out and start doing what I have to do. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. She was very supportive. I was happy. The father was supportive about it. Um, but it still just seemed like it's yesterday. I can still remember what I wore when I went for my first sonogram picture. And to just think 29 years later, she's giving me this first grandchild. It's like I'm not reliving it all, but just still, it's so fresh to me now. It's
You
still
remember
fresh.
what it was like to have her as a child.
Exactly, exactly. So now it's like I'm happy with where she is in life. I have no things I would have to say that she's doing wrong, but at the same time, I can say she's doing some things wrong. But I myself have to understand times have changed.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like if you don't realize times change, then it's not going to work for you.
Right.
And that's what gets me through. Like, I just think of the positive side of it. Like, okay, she's about to make me my first grandmother, be the first grandmother, and I'm happy
Hmm.
about it. But there's no negativity with it. Like I didn't have to go through, what do you say, really, really bad times to get her there. You know what I mean? Like,
That's a blessing.
yeah,
That's a
like it's a
blessing.
healthy pregnancy. It's not like I had to do any interventions with her to
Hmm.
get to this point. Now, don't get me wrong, there was ups and downs to this point, but I look at her and see myself as well. But I do see she's doing better than I was when I was pregnant with her.
And isn't that the point, right, Darlene, that what as a parent, whether a mother or father, whatever you went through, you want to make sure your children do better
Right,
than you
right.
than you do, or your children don't go through as much as what you
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 did.
did.
Right.
Definitely.
Like I said, in my case, my mom, she was married when I was born, but when we started getting older, the divorce came and she was a single mom.
Right.
So it's like watching her raise us, and she raised three. And then I was the last of the three. So I think she had a little harder on me because it was like I was the last one. But then you don't want to see generations keep repeating anything that was from prior. You want to
Mhm.
see things advancing,
Right.
and that's what I am seeing. So that's what I'm happy about. Like it's not like it's a struggle all the way through.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. No, that's a good thing because I know you know that not everybody gets to experience um motherhood that way. Like there's so many ups and downs that they have to go through, trials and
I mean,
tribulations
I had
that
those. I did have ups and downs, but the blessing is they turned out in the, not, I don't want to say in the end because I'm still doing it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I said, she's 29. Motherhood never ends.
That's right.
And
That's
being
right.
protective, it never ends. So I'm covering all those bases when it comes to being a single mom, still doing it. Yes, there's a father that she associates with, but I'm still the dominant one that's making sure she's
Okay.
protected, try to keep her on the right path, and just make sure whatever she's doing, I'm not that far behind on my steps. To
And that's what makes a good mother.
mm-hmm,
It doesn't matter if a child is over 18. A child could be 40 years old. You're still gonna do. You're still gonna look out for that child. You're still
right,
gonna aim to protect and defend that child,
of
right?
course, yes.
Darlene, Miss Darlene,
Yes.
you as well have been a single mom. Your son now is 38 years old, but you have not forgotten your trials and tribulations as well. Why don't you tell us about
Where should I begin?
it?
Where should I begin? But I just want to say, to Dawn's point, because she had many opportunities, and she was blessed to be blessed by her mom. Her mom taught her, and Dawn learned from her mom, and Dawn was able to share with her daughter the things that her mom taught her. And again, that's the foundation beneath the feet. That's the foundation that a mom stands upon, that
Hmm.
she can share to her daughter, either a daughter or a son. That was a
That's right.
great point.
That's
Mm-hmm,
right.
It really,
mm-hmm.
it means a whole
That's right.
lot. It really does. But
And
uh,
not to interrupt, just also the foundation. You say foundation, your
mhm.
neighborhood, the upbringing,
Right.
the neighborhoods, that plays a part too, because it's
It
very
it definitely
it can
does.
influence a
It
lot.
it 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 definitely does.
Mm.
Would you say um would you say that just because you know a child is raised up in a bad neighborhood, um that there could be no good to come out of that?
That's what you fight for. That's what you fight. Like you can see, just because you grow up in negativity, you still have a chance to make your kid not be what do you call expected to do that. You know what I'm
Ain't
saying?
that the truth?
Like
Somebody should have told me.
or a statistic,
right.
definitely.
Back when I was in school, I grew up in the projects. And as times changed, the older I got, and when the time came time to go to high school, I was judged by my address.
Yeah.
And to fast forward through my years in high school, I was awarded a scholarship. My own guidance counselor was shocked.
Really?
Yeah, my own guidance counselor was shocked because she expected me not to do anything.
Right.
Growing up on the
Right.
boulevard and this and this. So the funny story, when my daughter got to high school, she had the same guidance counselor. I'm like, you still here? I had your kids in here, didn't you? Like, did you advance? Like,
Whoa.
so it was like I know she was targeted. So that was one of my biggest struggles as a single parent, to try to protect her, not to be judged by where she grew up at and where she was living, to show my kid can do something just like I did. Like her address might still be where it was when I was little, but she could still be positive just like I was.
Right.
She could still come out of here great like I did.
Right.
That I would say was one of my biggest struggles, like trying to make sure she wasn't considered a product of her environment.
Mm.
And I don't down where I'm from, I represent, born and raised, nothing I can do about it. But that was the big struggle, to make sure she wasn't influenced by any of the negativity that is expected of you to be growing up in poverty projects or anything like that. So that's a plus I'm very happy about. She didn't.
So does your daughter understand that as an adult? Does
Very
does
much now.
does she
Yes.
appreciate? Does she show you? Because I'm sure she appreciates. But have you seen the appreciation that it could have been worse?
I do see that. And sometimes because now that she's out and about, she has explored and seen different areas. Sometimes I feel like when she returns back, she feel like she's gonna want more from me. To where sometimes I feel like I'm sorry I couldn't give you better than where we did grow up, and I beat myself up with that sometimes. And then when I express it,
Why?
because like she can go out, and I would say with her fiance now, she'll see another side from where he's from, where he's living now. And then if she comes back to stay with me, it's like I'm coming back here again. Sometimes I feel a little down, like I could be doing a little better, but then I think about it and I say, you know what, I'm still here.
Right.
Like you
No,
might be
I
returning to this hood, but you're returning to a full, strong black woman.
absolutely,
You're not
absolutely,
returning
and I think
to
those are normal,
yeah.
natural feelings. Anyway, especially as a mother. Darlene, you didn't, you haven't, you skipped over your situation.
No, that's fine. But Dorothy's bringing up
I'm
great
sorry.
points. No, no, that is fine.
That is a good point, but um, I'm asking you about you now.
What you asking me?
I want to know about your kid.
Oh boy, the 38 long, long years.
Well,
Long,
Boy.
long.
are you trying to say enough? 38 years, that's
And
enough?
no, it like Dawn said, it will never end. It never ends. It never ends. We had our ups and downs and all the things that went around. But you know, you gotta stay focused. You gotta have a mindset that you want to penetrate in them, in your child, whether it be a son or a daughter. The influences of the outside world will try to grab them,
Mm,
and um, a mom's her heart and care and concern for their child has to dominate all of the negativity that's going around. And I too have grown up in the projects. When I was little, when I had my son, he was babysat in the projects, but you know, you as a mother have to persevere and just stay strong no matter what it is, because there's so many things out there that will try to manipulate the child, but you got to keep pressing on. Sometimes those days, you get weak,
Mhm.
you get weary. Oh my God, what am I going to do? But you got to keep pressing on, onward and upward,
is
definitely.
it just so easy to just
No,
press on
no,
and
no,
you
no,
know,
because we're human and you get tired. The struggle
yeah,
is hard, and especially if you're by yourself,
Mhm.
because you are the number one provider, you're the number one disciplinary, you are number one in all factors in life.
right,
You can ask for guidance from certain people that you may trust, just get advice or whatever, but it's you that brings it home. That child comes home to you. I remember I remember one time my son was young and he asked me, he must have been, this was years and years ago. He must have been about 7 or 8. And he asked me, Mom, can I wear my baseball cap to school? I said, okay, but you better come home with that baseball cap.
that's right.
Wait, did
That's right.
I said, okay, sure. You better come home with the baseball cap. So I'm walking up the hill. He's coming home from school. I said, where's the baseball cap? He said, I lost it. I said, okay, you go upstairs. I'm going to the store. So I came back. I went upstairs, looked in the room. I didn't see him. I didn't see him.
You probably wouldn't
Wait,
have seen me either.
wait. So he wasn't there. He left me a note. I ran away from home. I kid you not.
Well, he was smart enough to do that.
Yes, 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 yes.
Wow.
His grandfather called me. Um, Darlene, what's going on? my grandson just came to my house with a suitcase with dirty clothes and clean clothes. He ran away.
Oh,
He knew.
oh,
And you know,
whoa.
the
So,
point was, I'm trying to teach you responsibility. I told you don't go to school with the baseball cap because you're not gonna. I'm trying to teach you
right.
Mhm.
responsibility. He ran away. He ran away to his grandpa's house. But
Wow.
there's certain things that they gotta go through in order to learn.
Mhm.
Richie didn't do that no more.
Did you, but,
Did you buy another hat?
I don't remember all of that,
oh, that was
but
your question. I was going to say, did you beat his ass?
well, no, not at that time. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't. I can't lie. I can't lie. But I know one other scenario. We was in I think it was Foot Locker, and you know teaching a child not to disrespect you. Well, first and foremost, it has to start at home. But I think he started feeling himself, and he said something to me in public, and I guess this was the old cliche. I'll be your mother and father. I don't believe that because I can never be a father. I'll never be a father, but I will be a mother and I'll do everything that I can. But he said something to me. I'm sorry. And I thank God he didn't call CPS or anything like that. Everybody, oh boy, I did some stuff to him. He said I can't breathe.
Oh, he was one of those?
Yeah. Oh, I can't breathe.
Sound like she was Bernie Mac on
Yes,
it. Really
yes.
throat.
Oh
Beat into
my
the white meat show.
God. Yes. Oh
For
my
real.
God.
Oh,
But it's,
wow.
some things like that, a mom has to just step up, because you don't have a male figure there. Sometimes you don't. And you gotta get that girl. You gotta get
Mhm.
that mean one,
Hmm.
So,
That reminds me of when I hear, which I hate to hear, um on Father's Day, when I hear mothers say, "No, I'm their father too."
mm-mm.
With all due respect, it says Father's Day, which is, like I say, they should change it to Testicle Day. It's about testicles,
Yeah.
and whoever does not have testicles, please sit down.
You're not a father. Right.
Okay, um, because number one, no matter how many bad men there are equally as many good men.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I feel in today's generation, I'm 40 years old, there are more fathers today than there were 40 years ago.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, I
Do you
agree with
agree?
that. Yes.
Totally.
I feel there are more men that care about their children and love their children and want to be in their children's lives today than there were 40 years ago. They might still be scumbuckets, they might
Mm-hmm.
still be losers and no job and lazy, but they want to be a part of their child's life.
Correct. Correct. And you know what? I think it's because of the generation. Um,
Hmm.
things that have been learned, things that have been taught.
Hmm.
But there's, and I hate to say it, but there are mothers that are no good as well. So I
Well,
think,
I'm glad to hear it
yes, of
from a
course.
mother.
Of course.
You
And
agree,
that's great.
Dawn?
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, and I understand the hardships, which is why I'm devoting a show first to single moms than I am for single dads, and I'm a father myself. But that's to give the honor and respect that we understand and we know that it's hard on all you moms. It's hard when you're married, and so to consider being single, and having to raise your children, we understand that, but I think it's a different generation when it comes to fathers and men and their children. And it's like I feel as the tides are turning, where you're having more fathers, more men becoming fathers, you have more women, can I say it, becoming bitches. can I say that
Mhm.
in a
Mhm.
sense that you have more women that are using that child as a token or a trophy or a ploy to
Mhm.
get what you want,
Mhm.
right or wrong or good or bad, to
Mhm.
get what you want. And it's not to discredit what the man is doing. He could be he's probably a definite loser, but to use your child as a bargaining chip, I've
Mhm.
always felt is wrong. And I have many of the friends who have been through that, and to sit and watch them go through it. You know what comes through my mind? And we're live. I've never shared these thoughts publicly, but whenever I was around a friend who was going through that, I always would say, "Well, it's good for you because you should have known how she was from the very beginning."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure somebody told you, whether it was your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your best friend, and you didn't care because that's not what you saw. You saw whatever it is that you want to see. But I think we're all grown adults here. We understand. You know when a person is not all there, or you know when when that person is lacking something. Let me say it that way, lacking something. And maybe deep down inside you might give excuses for it or pretend it's not there, it doesn't exist. And then when boom, it blows, there's the bomb. Now you're angry and, and upset. And I used to feel like, but you kind of have known, so you let it go, and now you're upset that you're in child support and all this. I mean, it's my opinion. I could be wrong. What do you think?
Well, wait.
I took too long. All righty. Go ahead, Donnie.
No, you got a point there because my son's father and um, I thought it was gonna be, the best that it could be. You know, people did tell me, but I had to find out myself. I had to find out myself. Um, and doing that, I made it my decision to have my son. Though he was whatever he was doing or what have you, but it was my decision and my decision only. And it can only be your decision to make that choice to have a child. But um, I was blessed to be able to have my child and do what I had to do.
Right, and I'm sure that that's what makes a mother a good mother, regardless of what y'all went through. You would never give your children back, or you would never
Mm-mm.
re- redo it again, even if you had the opportunity to blink your eyes and do it again with the same child, with the same person. I don't think anyone would really
Would do it. No.
would do it again, because there are ups and downs, right, that come together.
Hmm.
There are goods and bads.
Hmm.
So if you redo the bads, maybe some of those goods might be
Might not come out
redone
correct.
at the same time.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn back anything.
Hmm.
And just for your point on how you kind of knew ahead of time. So my daughter's father has two children. I played a part in raising them, and I saw the relationship he had with them, but he wasn't a supportive father. Like I could see that,
Hmm.
but he was a good relationship father, if that
Okay.
makes sense. So he didn't
Yes.
have to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
provide, but long as he was the get along person,
Right.
everything was fine. Did I think I could change that by having my kid? No. I just felt we're old. He's older now, so this would mature, and he had a good job. Like I said, I had a good job. Like everything seemed like it was supposed to be. Doesn't change a person. Like it didn't fully mature him and say, okay, this is my third kid. Let me settle and be this way. He was still immature.
Right.
I knew all along I was doing what I was supposed to do. You know, I had my ups and downs where like, am I really feeling fulfilling my need as a mom? Would I be able to handle this if I didn't have my mom? Because grandmothers do play a big role, you know. But earlier this year, daughter started getting back into another relationship with her father. You know, they were up and down. It wasn't until earlier this year where he actually looked me in my face and apologized and said, "Thank you for raising a beautiful daughter
Really?
that you raised." He said, "I commend you. You did it all by yourself." So now you got, I would say she's 29. Out of the 29 years, 27 of them, I was like, to him, you know? But when he looked me in my face, I said, "I'm doing my job." Okay? Like, there's nothing you can say to downplay me. You know, we had our court times with the child supporters. I was never a believer in child supporters. I never felt some judge in a black robe should be able to tell me the value of my daughter.
Of your child.
You know, you could tell him, "Oh, $100 a month." What? I'm still paying more than that. But it's not a value. Even if you wasn't giving her money, she still needs that fatherly support from you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you could help prevent her from choosing somebody like you, like I did, step up and do that. Okay,
Right.
I
Right.
need you to be that part of it. Like, daughters. I mean, I can't even say it's just daughters. I'm just saying, probably as a single mother, the child's gonna choose when they want to listen, when they don't want to listen. But a daughter is going to look at her mother like, she's my queen, she's something strong, but she did do this.
Right.
So
Right.
there's space for my mistake. You don't want that space for their mistake. But I think if her father had stepped in and be the friend and the father, some things might have would have went different ways. But once he said thank you and I apologize, I said, okay, I did everything I
That
was
was
supposed to
nice.
do.
That was nice. And
It
that
took a
that
long
was yeah. No, no.
time,
We're gonna clap for her.
it took
We're
a
gonna
long
clap for her.
time, but it kind of took a breather off. Like, oh, now he sees
And
what it's
and
all
that's a
about, you know.
gentleman.
And he was able to see how his son and his daughter. Like I said, I played a part with raising them, but mine was the dominant one. How they respect, like, oh, mom doing. This is what I'm doing now. Mom doing, I'm doing this. Like, they're still in contact with me, telling me all the things that they're stepping up to,
Right.
having their own kids. And he was just like, you really, really did your thing. Like, you're the woman I can say, if I had time to do it all over again. It's like, well, that time is up. Move forward. That time's up. No, I'll let it go.
Yeah, can't go back.
But
Absolutely.
that really
Absolutely.
took a lot off me, where I was able to say, like, okay, I can.
So let me
do
ask you.
that.
Let me ask you. Did you guys have food stamps with as a single mom?
I had food stamps. I had welfare. I had what else was there? Everything that you can name up under. Wait a minute, let me tell you one funny story. One funny story.
Yeah, food stamps, welfare,
WIC,
WIC.
Section 8. Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're starting out, and there's no problem with that. But wait a minute. Let me just tell you one funny story. We was in a post office one day, and I would have Anthony with me 20. I would have my son with me 24/7, and we was in a post office one day. There's a lot of people online, and I was I was going to get some postal stamps. So he said,
I'm sorry. I in my ear, I thought she was gonna say she went postal.
Oh no! I didn't work for the post office.
No, you
No,
went postal.
no.
You
I
heard
went
that,
to
right?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
But he said, what are you getting? I said, some stamps. He said, you're going to get your food stamps? And it was so quiet in the post office. I wanted to just yank him up and run out of the post office. But that was too funny. Yes, he did. Because he knew all the things, most of the things. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But yeah, that was funny.
Your face turned all
Oh
kind of
my
colors.
God. Yes, 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 Lord.
Wow. Okay. I don't know how we're taking that.
I know. Oh my God. I know.
First thing I gotta do is look around me.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
All I
See,
seen was
you
a
know.
long trail
Yep,
behind me, a
yep.
whole bunch of people.
Then the next thing is I'm gonna give him the look of death.
That's the look, but at the same time, it's like they understand, but not right now.
Yes,
Don't say that.
exactly.
Because I had a similar story. Remember Pathmark?
Mm.
I wasn't. I mean, it was part of life, but I
I
just
love
didn't
me,
want to.
Pathmark. Go ahead. I love me,
Okay.
Pathmark. Go ahead.
I just didn't want to be out there where like I'm using these brown and green things to pay for my food. So I would go later in the evening. And I took my daughter with me one night. So we're shopping around, knew where everything was, get to the counter, and the cashier said whatever the total was. Some green, brown, red. She looked up. She said, "Do you have enough?" I have green in my pocket. I'm like, how embarrassing is this? My kid, she's like 8. Like my 8-year old trying to help me pay for groceries. I'm like, I have enough. I have enough. She's like, but all them colors? What are you paying for? And I was
No,
just like,
she
oh my
didn't for
God.
real.
She understood, but at the same time, she didn't get the concept of what this is what I got to do to support us. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
she just knew I wanted to hurry up with the process. Like, 'cause before we go in the stores, like, just don't say nothing. I'm here to get what I gotta get. Don't ask for nothing extra.
Right.
Typical thing.
Mm.
And then when she's like, "Do you have enough? You got all them colors. Which one? What are you paying for?" I'm like,
That is
you know, the
too
cashier just standing
funny.
like $49.99. You know, like pay the money. I'm just like, calm down. And now they got cards. You can swipe and get away
That's
with it.
it,
Nobody
yes.
know nothing.
Yeah,
Yes.
them damn cars. It's just not fair, is it?
Mhm.
It's just not
Yes.
fair. I be in the bodegas and be seeing kids coming in and here you go, like it's a credit card.
Yes.
And I really want to come out and say, we all know that's EBT, sucker. But
Wait,
because
can I just say one thing? I'm not criticizing no one. No, 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 no. And I might be banned from the show after this. But let me just say one thing. Okay. I was in, as you said, the bodega. Okay. There was a pretty young mother. Um, she used one of those the EBT cards.
Mhm.
What?
Could you speed it up a little bit?
She had she had a big booty. Big booty. Looked like a booty from
To pay for them.
yeah.
Okay.
But then she paid with the EBT card. So my point is, you got she had about 3 or 4 children with her, but you could go pay for a booty like that.
You saying it wasn't real?
No.
All right, that's a different episode.
But no, you gotta set your priorities straight.
Absolutely.
Okay, you could go
Absolutely.
over to another country and pay for a butt like that, but then you're gonna come back and get the food stamps or whatever, pay for your household's food with the food stamps, but you could pay for
And you
beep.
shocked
Yeah.
by that?
Oh no, no, I'm not. But I'm
It's
just
not
saying.
just
I'm
butt,
just saying.
it's
But
boobs,
it's the
it's
generation again. There's a generation gap. Back in the day, we ain't paid for no booty like that. We worked hard for our money. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I
And
thought
if
you were
we
gonna
get
say you worked hard for your ass.
well, my ass worked hard.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There
There
you
you go.
Yeah,
All right,
right.
all right, all right, all right. All right. So no, I mean, it definitely makes sense. But I'm past that because I've seen so many people. I I see people in the store that don't even belong with an EBT card in their hand. Okay, because I know what your apartment looks like. I see what car you driving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I saw those brand new Gucci shoes that you just wore the other day.
Mm-hmm.
and now you in the supermarket with a EBT card. But to each their own. To each
Mhm.
their own. That's on them. I don't, I just talk to myself in my head about that.
Mhm.
I don't say nothing to nobody else.
Mhm.
But it wouldn't be me. But as a kid, I remember those colors of food stamps. I remember they were very traumatizing
Mm-hmm. Wasn't no
and and
presidents or
and
nothing on it. It was just
and
colors.
humiliating. Um, um, until I became a teenager and decided I don't give a damn anymore. I don't care. Yeah, I got food stamps. So what? It's cash. It's money.
And they put food on the table.
And I was about to say that if you
Okay.
starving, you hungry, and you
Mm-hmm.
ain't got no money in your pocket, you gonna ask me, can you borrow a couple of food stamps?
Mhm.
And that's how it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful thing to buy that ham and cheese sandwich and 50-cent soda and
Yeah.
bag of potato chips, and you didn't have not $1 in your pocket,
Mhm.
but you had food stamps.
Mhm.
And now they have this EBT card that is, I always said this is just not fair. This is not fair because they could just hide it and just swipe it through and pass it through
And it goes anywhere. I was
and
on 125th Street yesterday in a store, a clothing store. Joyce Leslie. I didn't
Mhm.
even know that was still around.
Mhm.
But again, 125th Street, Joyce Leslie, big sign of her EBT accepted here. What?
In a clothing store.
That's what I said. I was like, what? Like, it's that easy now? Like, well, why would you be using it there? But then I had to
wow,
think there's cash and food stamps on
yeah,
that card now.
yeah.
So you go shopping and swipe with the EBT and buy yourself some clothes.
Wow.
I noticed a couple of months ago that they are now, or maybe in that specific store, they were accepting EBT in fish stores and stores that sell those hot food.
Mm-hmm.
And in bodegas, you can get anything as long as it's cold.
Mhm.
But now a lot of these bodegas have a hot area connected to them,
Mhm.
and now able to take food stamps for it. Or those fish fry places,
Mm-hmm.
and before they were you can get cold fish that they cut up and clean out for you, but you weren't able to get anything from the other side with the food stamps until now, and I believe that you can now.
But it's
Mhm.
scenarios like that that make me look at it, go back into when I was raising my daughter. Like, the times really have changed. Like, to
Mhm,
me, I felt like I
mhm.
struggled more than, I mean, I don't want to sound selfish, but feel like I have more of a struggle as a single mom than some, again, some single moms these days. Like,
I think I agree. It's a different kind of struggle
mm-hmm.
right now, and I think it goes towards perhaps there's a lot more programs and support um, on that level, because it's lacking support in other levels. But in that level, yeah, it's a little easier to get on welfare. It's a little easier to get Section 8
Right.
these days. And mind you, a lot of people will probably say, "No, it's not. I've been on the waiting list for 15 years."
At least
But
you're on a waiting list.
that's
I was
that's
straight
that,
denied.
Mhm.
y'all hear that, Section 8? She's been straight denied. But
I'll
yeah,
wait.
I, she said she'll wait.
She's still waiting.
Right?
But yeah, I think I agree with that. It's a little bit easier today, and somehow I also think that transpires into the way of how there's a little bit more laziness in the world today than there
Correct.
was,
Correct. Back
30
in the
years
day.
ago, 20 years
Mhm.
ago, because it's a little bit easier. People, I think, and it's just my opinion, I think people either can or have found it okay to go a little longer with a little less.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that? Did I say that right? Whereas they're not longing so much to have more because they're sort of comfortable
Yes.
with what they have,
Mm-hmm.
and what they have may not be zero, and that's why it's okay. They have
Right.
something.
Right.
And as long as they have something, there's no need to go and get more. I guess.
And
I see that.
that that's kind of a problem where whatever the government on a state level or a city level, um, I think they have put people in a crutch where, like you said, if you know you can get this amount of stuff, people get conducive to that way of living where
Hmm.
they don't want to start stepping up, stepping up,
Hmm.
stepping up. They get comfortable where they
Hmm.
are, and that's
Hmm.
unfortunate because then you're showing you don't want people to advance in life.
Right.
You don't want
Right.
the better part of life. I and like I'm sure doing too, when we were on food stamps and all of that stuff, we just used it for a period of time.
Hmm.
You don't want to be on that all of your life because you want more.
Hmm.
I know I wanted
Hmm.
more money.
Yeah.
I wanted more stuff.
Right. I wanted more, and these were the '90s. They didn't make it easy for me. Like if you have a
Correct.
background of being a working person and you hit hard times, you had to almost give all your blood to just prove I am in need right now.
Hmm.
I have this one daughter. I'm trying to do this. Like I had a car. It wasn't brand new, but it was worth selling according to them. You get some value from it, like
They made you sell your
and
car.
it was told I wasn't selling the car, but it
Okay.
was told you could sell that. Well, how am I supposed to get to my interviews? Oh, well, you could use, public transportation. I have a vehicle. I don't want to use public. But when I say they made it hard, I come from when I applied for welfare and I took my daughter with me. She wanted to go. So I will say at that early age, she was supportive, even though she didn't fully
Hmm.
understand. She just saw a long line in front of one building and we were on it. Okay. But to hear someone behind a desk talk to me back then, like I was begging for something. I wasn't begging for anything. I'm literally in a bad situation right now. I'm asking for temporary help. I'm looking for work. I'm just looking for what my field is.
Right.
And you're telling me to go from finance to be a waitress just so I can say I have an income. So at the same time, while my daughter's listening to, I'm like, now what is she thinking? That this woman, we don't know her, but she's dictating what my life is supposed to be. And then you fast forward some times now where you have so many people that's comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this?
Yeah.
I can still remember the lady in the desk,
Yeah.
when I was sitting there and I look at neighbors or just people in the area, you walk around and you can just see who's comfortable
Right.
not
Now,
having
now, don't get me
nothing but having
wrong.
something.
There. It doesn't happen to everybody. So
Right.
I gotta make that straight. It doesn't happen to everybody. But in my line of work, I've also noticed. I don't want to say notice, but it kind of seems as though those that really, really, really need it, they tell them that you make too much. And these people come to me and will actually show me the letters and stuff that they get from the public assistance, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Meanwhile, so and so, down next door, yeah, she got a couple of kids,
Hmm.
but you could see that she gets assistance more regularly, and no problem. And or I know because I'm the owner or whatever. I know both persons' financial um, situation, and how is it that you got it and this one does not
No.
Yeah, like I
Mm-mm.
walked
qualify?
to the welfare office. There's people in front of me that got dropped off in Nissan Maximas with the rag
I've
tops.
seen that too.
Back then, had the Nextel on it, so I texting, I'll be out in 1 hour. What am I doing wrong? I'm
Right,
getting denied insurance.
right,
Pre-social media, she's the future right now,
Right.
and she's getting her hooked up.
right. Well,
I
I
mean,
will
I'm
tell you
blessed
when
that
I
I
do
didn't,
when I
I
do
got
visit
through
those.
it.
Mm.
I will tell you when I do visit those centers. I make sure I put on my best suit,
Hmm.
because I'm not there to get online. So that's why they said clear.
But nothing is wrong with that, though.
No,
There's nothing
no,
wrong with like
nothing's wrong
that,
with it.
and we're not down in anybody that needs that
Yeah,
assistance in this daytime
we're just making a
at
joke about it,
all.
but absolutely no, there's nothing wrong with it. More importantly, of me when I do that is because I don't want nobody talking to me. Don't ask me no questions. Don't ask me for nothing. I'm trying to go in and out. You know the court system up here has all the courts in on the same floor. Did you know that?
No.
The welfare system and the family court and the probation court, they're all on the same floor.
Mm.
So when an officer calls me up to verify an employee's probation or a tenant's probation, that's where I have to go to. When a tenant is requiring assistance from them, that's where I go to. And and family court when my family is dealing with stuff and I have to go in and support. Not for me. That's where I go to. So you know, I could tell you what that second floor looks like very well. All right. Well, what we was trying to get out there is that it's not easy being a single parent, right?
Mm-mm.
A lot of sacrifices that you have
Mhm.
to give to in by way of making things easier or trying to make things better for your children.
Mhm.
And there are no regrets. We would not give our children back, and we just live to see another day to be able to um, be with our children, right? To
Definitely.
teach your children, because it's always a teaching, and also to learn from your children, right?
Right.
I have to say, my children have taught me several things that I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to learn, but you sort of have no choice because your children are growing up and reckoning their own personality and character that
Mhm.
you have to deal with, right? You
Mhm.
have you can't say I don't like that, change that, right?
Mhm.
Because you don't like the personality that they've become.
It won't be that easy.
It won't be that easy.
You can't just
Mm-mm.
say that. It won't
You
end there.
you right,
Mm-mm.
and so you it's hard to change from being mommy daddy parent to being adult parent. You get what I'm saying? To parenting, but now from like an equal sort of level in a way.
Mhm.
Because I try to make sure I do keep a friendship versus where she knows I am authority. I'm a mother. I don't want her scared of me. I never wanted her scared or
Right,
afraid
right,
of me. But I did want her to also understand you can come to me.
right.
You know what I mean? Like when I was down, it could be something else. It didn't even have to relate to her. There was times she was my comfort, where she would say some things. I'm like, what you know about that? Like, smooth for thought. What,
Mhm.
60? Didn't I just yell at you last week? Now you're
Mhm.
telling me
Right, right.
some real signs.
And you can't, ignore that,
No.
especially if you're smart enough to know that there's some truth in whatever your child is telling you.
And
And
it's
oh
and
my
it's
God, did my child just tell
Just
me
say
that?
exactly,
that.
exactly. And it could be variety of topics. Like one time, it wasn't getting so toxic with her and with her father and I, but it was over. Like I had to decide to let it go. I wasn't afraid to be by myself. It was just, am I really ready to do this? And long story short, one day he came to the door and they're arguing through the door. So I was like, you're not getting in. Then I ended up opening the door, and the first thing she said as soon as he walked in, and she didn't care that he was standing there, she said, now why'd you let him in? You know y'all gonna do nothing but argue.
Mm.
And this is a 7-year old telling me this, which means you think they're not paying attention, but they're paying attention.
Oh yeah.
And as young as she was able to tell at an early age who's the strong one, who do I want to be with.
Okay.
I would say she was young enough to choose, like, I'm going to stay with this one, like my mom, because she saw the anger, she saw the hurt. She probably saw all of the emotions that I dealt with to still be standing there,
Right.
where she saw it was just easy for him to say, all right, I don't need this today, I'm leaving. So she knew he could easily walk off. And that took on a long time. Like if I didn't do something, oh, straight angry. I'm sure you dealt with that. If we didn't come through with something, anger. But if he didn't do something, all right, because it's expected.
Mhm.
Right.
We're
It's
the sole
expected.
providers. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So that was something I had to take time to realize. Like she does see
Mhm.
really what my role is and
Right.
what my character is.
And I guess the blessing is that you saw it, right?
Yes.
You saw it and you were able to get over that situation.
Mhm.
Excellent. We got a poem here. We want to get to. You still want to do your poem before
Sure.
we call it a night? What
Mhm.
is the name of your poem?
A mother's love.
A Mother's Love.
Love. Yes.
So, my Estebanites, we have a poem called A Mother's Love from Miss Darlene. Please give your undivided attention right now.
Thank you. By the grace of God, from day one, I was able to embrace and protect my only son. The foundation has been laid, and now I pray that you will continue to grow and remain firm on what has been built. I have confidence in you and believe that whatever life may unveil, you will succeed and prevail. Remember always the choices you make today will determine your tomorrow. I love you. And I wrote that to my son maybe 20 years ago. And
Wow.
um, again, what you and your child, maybe a daughter or a son, what you teach them and just embed it in their hearts,
Hmm.
they will remember
They
that.
will remember.
They will remember no matter what. And I can say in this daytime and hour, my son is very successful. And you know how they depend on you for so much. They come to you and ask you for stuff,
Hmm.
things, and so forth. I'll be like, son, can you come over? I need help. If it's just cleaning up stuff. One day, just tell you this one story. He came over, he cleaned my apartment with no, help me with rooms, take stuff out, give it to the Salvation Army. I mean, for your child to help you do just the littlest of things without arguing,
Yeah.
without, oh, why I gotta do this, why I gotta do,
Hmm.
that's a super blessing.
It's a total blessing. A
Hmm.
total blessing.
Yes.
Total blessing. I say that to my daughters all the time. You know, I don't need nothing from you. I don't need no money. I don't need clothes. I don't need material things. What what I do need is a hand, a rag, and some soap.
Yes,
Okay? All
yes.
right? And now add your name to that hand, that soap, and that rag, and get to work.
Hmm.
That's what I need. What I need is a broom and a mop and you
Hmm.
to
No,
move that.
definitely, definitely. And
That's what I need.
it's those little things
Yeah.
that
Right.
mean a whole
Right.
lot.
Right.
It is.
There's
It
some
is.
things where I can ask my daughter, or not even ask. Sometimes I would just expect a daughter to volunteer
Hmm.
and say things. And sometimes she does, sometimes she don't. And when
Mhm.
she don't,
Mhm.
I'm mad. But then earlier this year, I care for my mom, and I went through a situation where my mom was ill, and out the clear blue, my daughter was like, "I got you with whatever you need. If you come short, you need a bill paid, let me know." I wasn't expecting to hear that
Mhm.
from her.
Mhm.
And granted, I ended up not needing anything financially from her, but it warmed my heart to know she's sitting back in the cut
Right.
and she
Right.
does have my back. So it's
Nice.
like, even though you don't have to be told every day, "I got you, I got you, I got you," just to know emotionally they're there. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? They're there. It might not
Absolutely.
be all the time when you want it, but
Mhm.
even if I don't need it right now, I know she got
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And you know why? Because they know we were there for them
Yes,
it.
and that's
Right.
what I was gonna
from day
say.
Right.
one.
And they know
I'm
the
serious
Yes.
individuals
about
we
that.
are. We
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
give up. They know we
Correct.
will fight to the end,
Yes.
whether it's for them or whether it's for ourselves. We're not
Correct.
hopeless. We're not just gonna say throw the hands up in the air and be like, "Yo, I can't win." We're
Mhm.
And
gonna
it
fight.
proves that you raised a good kid.
Correct.
Right, right. So single mom, it's hard, but you see the outcome, as the days go by, and in today's world, you just be so glad to still be able to clutch
Mm.
that baby. Like I said, she's 29. But I still want to cradle her sometimes.
Of course.
And then sometimes I feel like flinging her right out
That's,
that
that's
gate.
right.
You're like, oh,
That's right.
sweet.
That's right. That's right. Well, we will that will be the last statement of the night. Beautifully said, because that is the absolute truth. When I get annoyed with my daughters, the last thing I'll say is get out. I just be like, okay, get out. Now get out.
Mhm.
But dad, get out.
Mm.
But they know,
Right.
they know that is my mild mannered. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Mhm.
You got
Mhm.
5 seconds to remove yourself from my face.
Mhm.
That's the funny part when they think they can challenge you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And no, they go. Of course, when they come back, you're better. You get
Mhm.
over it,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
no. But at that moment,
Yeah, that's
you don't
it.
want me to throw them f words
Right.
left
Mhm.
and right. I suggest
Mhm.
you
Go
get them
now.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, women, for sharing your experiences, your personal experiences with your children, your son Darlene, who's an excellent man, by the way, I will
Thank you.
say, and your daughter Dawn. I haven't had the privilege to get to meet your daughter yet. I'm sure I will.
Yes.
Um, I think both of your women are exemplary mothers, and I know your mothering hasn't stopped. You continue to um, do the duties of a mother to this very day, and I applaud you both for that. Okay. You're always welcome back to the Esteban Hour. It doesn't have to be about mothering. You both know that it's a free fall at these tables. We
Okay.
could talk about anything. I think at the last show we talked about Lumi D.
What was it, 2009?
Oh, you good? You good?
I guess
But
so.
I wasn't talking about the artist.
Oh,
That's a good
okay.
guess.
That's the last time I heard that
No, I
word.
was talking about the commercial, the Lumi commercial.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know about
I'm sure he'll tell you about
I'll
it.
tell you later.
that. Okay.
But yeah, so every once in a while, we'll get down and just be laughing our brains off all night. But we wanted to have a serious conversation for a little bit. I think it was a little bit serious, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
What
But
do
we
you
had
think?
fun
Yeah.
too. Definitely.
Okay, we had our tequila. Yes, I can say because it's at the end now, and I can say
Oh, okay.
no shit. All right, well, cheers, cheers.
Successful night.
I'm home, so
Yes.
Okay, we will leave it at that. Anyone who has any questions or comments that they had on today's episode of Single Moms, Single Dads, Single Parents, please don't hesitate to share them with us at the Esteban Hour on any of the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Okay, you can also go on to find our audio version of the Esteban Hour on all of the podcast stations, Spotify, Apple Music, and all that good stuff. You can also send us an email if you have any questions or comments. If you have a story you would like to tell of your own, you can send that story to info@theestebanhour.com. In the meantime, we wish you safe health. We wish you a great, great weekend. Stay warm and don't forget to say to yourself, if you achieved a goal or an accomplishment today, this is how we do it. Good night.